Don't outlive your money. In this video episode, I'm going to educate you and answer the question, what should a retired person invest in? You know, I've helped many retirees optimize their assets, especially when they have more income than they need to live on. And they oftentimes get caught or trapped into putting money in a bank or a credit union or their checking account. Heavens forbid. No, I can show you how to optimize that and convert it to tax-free accumulation and tax-free income later on, so you will never outlive your money. Stay tuned. I'm going to blow you away. So my name's Doug Andrew. I'm here in my radio studio. I've been very blessed to have my own radio show where I produce a new show every single week. I've been doing this for 12 years. And oftentimes I will speak to my listening audience about financial concepts. With this YouTube channel, I answer many questions that have been asked anywhere from 30 to 300 or more times a month for the last several months. And so oftentimes people will ask me the question, you know, Doug, I'm already retired. What should I invest my money in during retirement? And I go, well, you're very fortunate to have excess money, discretionary dollars to invest in retirement. I'm going to tell you a little story about a particular client of mine. He was a master electrician, and he followed my advice, which I loved because he didn't question. We were able to sock away money for him. He had a modest income, but because he socked away money for several years, just several $100s a month, he ended up with a couple of $1 million at retirement. And golly, his wife passed away within 90 days after she retired of being an executive secretary for a principal at a high school. And so all those golden years together, you know, he was disappointed because his wife of about 45 years passed away before they could even begin to enjoy retirement. Now, he did get remarried and he began to do some of the things that he wanted to do. But I remember when he said, Doug, you have done such a good job. I have this money, and how much can I take in income? Now, he was of the mindset, because he was an electrician and he did get a pension and he got his Social Security, that, okay, now he was retired, he had to take income. Now, I didn't get that. And he says, well, how much can I take? And I told him, oh, golly, you could take easily $60,000 a year and this thing would just keep growing. And so he goes, okay, good. So let's do that. So that was $5,000 a month. So he does this for more than a year. He had almost 18 months of that. And so he had taken about $90,000, close to $100,000 out of his account. And he came in for his annual review and he goes, you know, Doug, I've been retired now for almost 2 years. What should I do with this money in my checking account? I go, what money? He goes, well, this $5,000 a month, the $60,000 that you've been sending me tax-free, I don't need that money. And so it's been sitting in my checking account earning nothing. I'm going, what? I'm so sorry. I thought you said you wanted it. Well, he said, I thought I had to take it because I'm, quote, retired. I go, no, not if you don't need it. You leave it there compounding. I mean, he was taking it out and putting it in his checking account at 0%, where he had been earning 8 to 10% tax-free. And I go, you don't have to take it out if you don't need it. He goes, well, where can I reinvest it? I go, right back where you took it out. But you should have never taken it out in the first place if you don't need it. So sometimes it's been very comical. Sometimes people think, well, if I've done this for retirement, I have to take it out. So now I've learned. When somebody retires, I go, do you need the income yet? I'm shocked how many times they go, no, I don't need the income. Well, a lot of people with money trapped in IRAs and 401ks, they go, well, I don't need the money. So they go to their accountant and they go, well, I don't need the money. What should I do? What does the accountant say? Oh, we'll continue to defer until you're 70 and a half. Now you can do it till age 72. That's the worst advice I've ever heard. Defer, continue to postpone paying the tax? Thinking what? You're going to be in a lower bracket? Congress is going to lower taxes in the long run? No. Hello? But that's what most advisors do because they only look at a single year. Oh, I can save you tax if you don't take out anything. But what happens at age 72 now? If you don't withdraw what the government says you're supposed to withdraw based upon their minimum distribution, that's called an RMD, required minimum distribution, there's a 50% penalty on top of the tax. If you have $1 million nest egg and you're supposed to pull out 50 grand at age 72 and you don't, the penalty is $25,000 on top of the tax. The government will take 80 or 90% of it if you don't take it out because they want to get that money out and taxed, hopefully before you die, and then they'll tax it again when you do die if you haven't depleted the account. No. And so the worst advice I have ever heard is to stretch it out till age 72 and then take out RMDs thinking you're saving tax. So let me tell you what I would do for these people to help them analyze what they can do better. So maybe you have your money in what I call a tax trap. Money in yet to be taxed IRAs and 401ks. What I have done for thousands of people successfully is, no, don't get in the trap of waiting till you're 70 and a half or age 72 now and then take out RMDs. I have this software that shows people the darkness of the night if they did that. And they took out the required minimum distribution. If they don't need the money, they go, well, why should I pull it out? Let me just take out the minimum. And I'm going, no. Take out the maximum. Why? Because you want to reposition it. You want to get the taxes over and done with at today's lower rates rather than thinking tomorrow's rates are going to be lower. Hello? I mean, recently with economic stimulus, bailouts, COVID-19 pandemic, the government has been spending trillions of dollars more than they bring in revenue. Where's the money going to come from? They have to raise taxes. The writing's on the wall. The Congressional Budget Office, the General Accountability Office says taxes are going to have to go to 50%, maybe 60, maybe 70%, especially with Medicare for all being proposed and forgiveness of student loans. Taxes are not going anywhere but up over the long run. So I tell people, get the taxes over and done with sooner than later. Then take the net after-tax monies and put it into something that's going to be tax-free from now on. And at the end of the day, when you do die, it will blossom in value and transfer income tax-free. There's only one vehicle that does that in the Internal Revenue Code. It's what I affectionately call the LASER Fund. LASER is an acronym that stands for Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns. What is the LASER Fund? It's a maximum funded, tax-advantaged, indexed universal life insurance contract that is structured for living benefits where I have earned an average of 11.17% for the last 25 plus years, netting 10%. In other words, the cost of the insurance, all fees, only uses up one of the percentage points, and I'm netting 10% tax-free. I would have to be earning 15 or 16% in an IRA or 401k in the market to net 10%. That's too risky. I don't want to do that. It's too volatile. I can't create predictable cash flow of $100,000 a year on $1 million nest egg when my money's in the market. The people who watch investor behavior say the average retiree is only averaging 3.5%. So they only want you to pull out 4%. Would you rather have 10% payout, 100 grand on $1 million, or 40,000, a 4%? Hello? So this is called a strategic rollout. So I don't want you to outlive your money by only getting a return of 4% and you have to pay tax on it when you could be getting a return of 8 or 10% tax-free, because that will give you double, maybe triple the net spendable retirement income. So how does this all come together? And I want to empower you to learn how you can do this, because if you don't need the money, don't continue to be duped into leaving your money in an IRA or 401k till age 72 and then take out RMDs. The worst advice. I want you to get the money out, taxes over with, repositioned into something tax-free, and at the end of the day, when you pass away, it will blossom and reimburse you for the taxes that you did incur during the rollout process. So you actually come out ahead when you do this strategy. So let me connect the dots for you. So we started out with the question, what should a retired person invest in? If you have a lot of your money trapped into such vehicles like IRAs or 401ks, or maybe you have a bunch of real estate equity and it's not performing very well, you ought to have an analysis done of your rent multiplier, because some people think they're doing well in their real estate until we do an analysis and we go, you're only earning an effective yield of 2% on your real estate. You ought to reposition that. So there's a lot of assets that you can reposition. And if you're already retired, the biggest mistake people make is, well, I'm too old for one of those max funded insurance policies because at my age, insurance is really expensive, right? It doesn't matter if you're a 68-year-old geezer like me, or an 83-year-old friend of our family who had 3 blocked arteries when he came to us. He cleared those up with angioplasty, by the way. He had a prostate cancer episode, and he had adult onset diabetes, and 6 sisters predeceased him and 3 brothers. He took out a laser fund, a max funded insurance contract. The cost of the insurance is the same for him as for me, as a 22-year-old athletic marathon running female. You wouldn't believe how many financial advisors and even insurance agents do not understand what I just said. Because under certain tax citations, TEFRA, DEFRA, and TAMRA, the older you are, the less insurance that is required, so that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can earn 11 and net 10, because the cost of insurance only drains out one of those percentage points. And the older you get, and actually, even the more unhealthy you are, you can get the same rate of return, and the insurance gets cheaper as you get older. I wish I could explain that in this episode, but I want you to search other episodes, get those answers. But if you want to cut to the chase, I want to send you a free copy of my most recent best-selling book. This is my 11th book. It's called The Laser Fund. Again, laser, liquid assets safely earning returns. This is how to diversify and create the foundation for a tax-free retirement, where I would recommend between 40 to 60% of your income be totally tax-free. This is a 300-page book. It retails for $20. I want you to claim your free copy. Go to laserfund.com, L-A-S-E-R, fund.com. You pay $5.95 shipping and handling. I'll pay for this book, and you pay for the shipping. You'll have options there to get the audio version if you want, or to have other master classes on video if this is intriguing you and you want to learn what you can do with your retirement dollars if you have more than what you need, so that you can accumulate it tax-free the rest of your life, and it blossoms at the end of the day. It will knock the socks off of where you probably have your money right now.